I'd like to call upon Ron Wakeman to present the valedictorian award to Edmund Park. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. De Silva, for your kind words. They're probably the nicest that anyone has ever said about me, by a factor of 5, including family. Hi friends, family of friends, friends of family, and family and friends of family friends. And hi, North Toronto graduating class of 2014. My name is Edmund Park, and I am your friendly neighborhood valedictorian speaker. First off, let me thank you for this illustrious honor of valedictorian that has been presented to me, Edmund Park, a position I will no doubt be crapping all over in the next few minutes. Mr. Zohar, when he saw this part, told me to take the crapping part out and instead aim for dignity. But for me, making the poop joke is far more important than dignity. First thing I'd like to establish is a question I have myself. Why am I valedictorian? According to Wikipedia, the online encyclopedia, a website that I'm sure many of you could not have graduated this school without, a valedictorian apparently is chosen as the highest ranking grade-wise among his graduating class. Yeah, nope, not even close. Another definition is that the valedictorian is supposed to represent the graduating class. Are you insane? Why would you pick me? If I represented this class, there's something seriously wrong with the children here, and parents, please, be careful. That means in this class, there are a disproportionate amount of sociopaths, pathological liars, and criminals. One of those things is not true. I was actually acquitted because they could not find enough evidence. One that might be a little closer to the definition is a valedictorian speaker in our case, is one that is elected and voted in to make a farewell address. I guess. I mean, after all, a great man at this very school last year once said, democracy is overrated. I mean, after all, democracy elected W. Bush twice. And worse, this guy on student council twice and valedictorian once. Maybe not the best indicator. This may go down as the worst injustice and crime in human history. But it's good to be back. After 4 months away, we've returned to North Toronto Collegiate Institute, our home of 4 years, although for some it may be 7 or 8. Believe it or not, we are a special year in NT's history, a giant blight, as in bright light. We are the first graduating class, as Mr. Gorikoff mentioned, to have spent all 4 years at this brand new school and not a single class of the old one. When we arrived here as Niners, we entered a brand new, state-of-the-art, $52 million building. By the time we left 4 years later, it was a decrepit ruin worth less than a Chipotle. An example that best illustrates this tragedy. I mean, those bathrooms. Those bathrooms, though. Within 3 months of us attending the school, we completely devastated those bathrooms, and they were never made better. No soap, no toilet paper, just general physical destruction, and the stench of death. It was like a war zone stuck in time. Abu Ghraib and Guantanamo Bay have more humane sanitary conditions. There was a point by grade 12 that I went home to use the bathroom. And I lived 45 minutes away. That's not all either. Dear people who built this building, why are 4 floors? Why are there 4 flights of stairs in a school? I have a serious condition that prevented me from accessing the majority of the floor. It's called fat and lazy itis. This is not the body of someone who could climb up 4 stairs to get to class. And we had 1 elevator, but we couldn't use it. Mr. Gorikoff, you are guilty for the suffering of this poor child. I mean, honestly, those kids in the Congo don't know what it's like to climb up 4 flights of stairs, only to have functions waiting for you at the top. Please, only you can stop the cycle of violence and injustice. Jokes aside, I think I can speak for a lot of students here when I say that the experience we had within the walls of this building have been nothing short of fantastic. The teachers, the friends we've made, the experiences we had in the last 4 years were a blast. We've learned so much from not just inside the classroom, depending on the class, but also outside of it, from extracurriculars, such as sports, clubs, and other quasi-legal activities. Everything was an important learning experience. We learned things that we will use and apply for the rest of our lives, like not wearing hats inside an auditorium, or texting in class, which we will never do in university. Most importantly, we've learned not to just work hard, but to play hard. Well, I never learned that because I'm not a very hard worker and I've never played sports in my life. So, the point is, we'll never forget that quote. It's branded into our brain, and that goes for the experiences and friends we've made at North Toronto. Some of them will be with you forever, whether you like it or not. As you lie on your deathbed at age 21 because you twerked that booty too hard, the last word you will hear in your mind is work hard, play hard. Now that we're on the topic of death, it's a perfect segue to my next topic, your future. We come back to North Toronto as different people in different ways. Some of you, not many, but some, have come back wiser, more knowledgeable about the world around us, from school, work, or just the simple brutality and injustice of everyday life. The parents in this audience know what I'm talking about. Others may have physically changed. The way you dress, maybe you gained some muscle, or no longer have a working liver due to alcohol consumption. I, for one, have gone through transformations in both the body and the mind. I now know all of the lyrics to the song Black Widow, and my body has gained the freshman 250 because I have a buffet. My goal for this semester is not having to undergo a quintuple bypass to clear the gravy in my arteries. The point is, we've grown and changed in the last 4 months, which, whether you're in education, work, or just a general state of existing on the couch in your home, which, by the way, parents, if your child is like me and taking an arts degree, expect that in 4 years. We've become, slowly, our own people. We are adults, maybe. Well, adults, a lot of whom continue to be financial parasites on their families, but now have free reign to spend their parents' money wherever they want. Yesterday, I had a $40 dinner. The day before, 30. Thanks, Dad. Yet, despite continuing to suck up the last remaining droplets of our parents' lifeblood, we're adults. I'm a big kid now, and I make my own decisions with my parents' money. But is it really? Because just by gauging the everyday expressions of the adults in my life and the audience in here, being an adult seems like a total bummer. I mean, seriously. Firstly, we should determine what kind of a sad creature an adult is before we want to become one. I have a hypothesis that being an adult isn't based on your age. It's defined when the best years of your life are behind you.
Oh my God!
Let me explain. For the students graduating today, and for younger audiences, your best years are way ahead of you. If it sucks now, if you're having a hard time, it will get better, but you're not an adult. For some of you, you may be currently experiencing the best years. You know, you found the love of your life, you're making a lot of money, you have the dream job. Don't worry about it, it goes downhill from there. Others, I think me included, it just doesn't happen. Your life just stays like the way it is forever. It's sort of like everybody gets the ability to fly, but you don't. But you have to be a child for the rest of your life, which is really good. Then, for the adults in the audience, your best years are dust in the wind. They're extinct like dinosaurs, usually annihilated by some catastrophic event. Your best years are a Kansas song released in 1977. It's usually annihilated by like a catastrophic event, like the Great War, or a meteor, or the bubonic plague. But I think for the most of the adults in this audience, your best years probably ended in 1996. Being an adult means sitting in a school auditorium on a Friday night in the Thanksgiving weekend, listening to some stupid 18-year-old insult you on stage and not being able to do anything about it. no actual life experience tries to impart advice on other 18-year-olds. So let's see how well this turns out. So, what's different about us if we're not adults but have this sort of independence to become our own people and make our own choices? I would say what we have now is freedom. Freedom as in a larger number of choices we are able to make ourselves and for ourselves. Freedom to be who you really want to be. Freedom like Mediocre. You are now free within legal and economic boundaries to do what you want and go where you want. If you want to purchase a pony, you can do that. If you want to buy a leather working shop, for some reason you can do that. And if you want to combine those two and sell fedoras made of pony leather, you can do that as well, you weirdo. Everyone has the freedom to pursue their own interests, everyone has freedoms to pursue their own interests, unless you live in North Korea or 60% of the world. You have the freedom to pursue your own success, to pursue your own happiness. But it's not just freedom that you have to succeed or benefit. You're also free to fail, to mess up. Free to fail really hard, like bankruptcy hard, dropping out of school hard, having a child in 1996 hard. And your parents won't be able to protect you like they did for the last 18 years. And the best part of this is you will face failure more frequently, and it will suck. So isn't it better to just stay where we are, being parasites? I mean, it's the perfect time. Parents saving up for retirement, saving money you could spend. Money that I could spend on a lot of KFC chicken buckets. So, how is freedom remotely a good thing? Why take risks when we're so exposed to failure in this cruel world, Edmund, you stupid idiots? My answer to that is shut your face, Edmund. The threat of failure, even failure itself, should not stop you from achieving your success and happiness. Yes, we're free to make mistakes, free to make wrong choices, and free to fail. But we're also free to aim for success, free to do the right thing, and free to achieve our own sense of happiness because we have so many opportunities to do so. Growing up in Canada, being able to attend a fantastic school like North Toronto, these things expand our available choices. We have greater freedom to make the choices that benefit us. In most of the world, most of the time human beings have been around, that's just not a thing. Growing up in a good chunk of the world really sucks. As banal as this sounds, a child growing up in the Congo does not have the choice to attend school or to start his own fedora business. His choices and opportunities by extension and his freedoms are greatly limited. We live in a society where those freedoms and choices exist in plenty. We have loving parents and dedicated teachers who have helped us expand those available choices and opportunities. So it makes no sense to simply let them go to waste because we're scared or because we're confronted by failure. Don't let your fear or your apathy prevent you from taking those opportunities, whether it's a new job, an extracurricular position, or even a pretty girl or a guy that you fancy. If you don't take the initiative, take the risk, and act on the opportunities you have, there will be no difference between inaction and failure. The privilege of having choices and opportunities is irrelevant if we don't take advantage of them. Only you yourself can determine how you live your life, and the only way to do that is by seizing the initiative, to take opportunities and to take choice even if there's risk involved. Obviously, some would argue differently, that it's naive. Individuals can't all become successful or all billionaires. Successful are the exceptions to the rule. We can only do so much. Yes, I think it is naive to look at life in a way like that everyone can determine how they live their life. But I think it's equally naive, cynically naive even, to think that we're powerless to change our own lives, that the world is so deterministic that we might as well just give up. Yes, the majority of the ultra-successful out there are the exception, but they're not exceptions to the rule, they are exceptions that prove the rule. That hard work and taking opportunities and risks that you have available does in fact pay off, that you can improve your own life immensely. And you don't have to be rich or what society deems as successful. It all needs to be what you deem as success, what you deem as your own happiness. Yes, failure is debilitating, but the price of inaction is just as bad. You will regret not taking an opportunity just as much as failing. My life, trust me, is characterized by a lot of missed opportunities and failures, yet the choices I regret the most are the opportunities I've missed. And the ones that I'm the happiest about are the choices I took risks in taking. This guy is not someone who is normally a student council president or a valedictorian. Shame on you for doing this. But it's someone like me who sits at home and plays video games, to take risks and achieve some sort of success. Why can't you? Failure is an option, don't get me wrong, but so is success. You have a choice to grasp opportunities and to improve yourself. Don't let some idiots on stage determine what your best or golden years are. Go out and make them yourself. To end on the words of a great warrior poet of recent times, George 43, also known as W, you must act upon what he says, which is, I'm the decider, and I decide what is best. Thank you, and congratulations, North Toronto.